And we're back! Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, Chapter 81. It is the last day of the week, aka the shotgun dropkick workout. So, today I'm feeling alright. I'm actually feeling really good. I got a lot of sleep. Lower body's feeling great, so looking forward to today's workout. So, today's episode is about passion, because yesterday I had a very passionate, angry speech that happened on the way back home because things just were not going the right way, which is funny how that works out for the video for optimism, right? But maybe that would just be a beginning factor to something even better, but who knows? But anyways, before I forget, actually, I wanted to mention this. I weighed 196.3 this morning, which was exactly the same as the day before, which is interesting because I, ate rice on Wednesday, and on Wednesday I weighed 194.3. So it's a 2-pound difference just consuming rice. So yeah, I consumed rice again yesterday. So I really do think my body just holds on to water the moment I have any rice in me. So it is what it is. But anyways, back to the main subject at hand. Passion. I think this stems mostly from yesterday's discussion at the very end there, where I was very angry and just angry at the world, really. But passion. I think that nowadays, if you show emotion for anything like that, people will think that, one, you're either cringe, or two, that you care too much. But in reality, these people are wrong. Most of the time, for those who think that it is cringe to show too much emotion, these people are troglodyte human beings who probably don't understand anything about regular human emotion, probably simplify many of their feelings into one-word sentences and or statements, communicate via memes, and have no real actual personalities outside of the things that they consume. So, their opinion can be discarded and thrown away to the trash where it belongs. But anyways, the second type of person who thinks that would be like, oh, you're too passionate about things, are probably also not passionate about anything in their own life, which is not good, obviously, for a lot of different reasons, because more likely than not, emotionally dead, jaded, discarded person that is beaten down by life, obviously, and so their give a fuck meter or a passionate meter is down to 1 to 0%, which is not good. And if you're like that, don't be like that. There's something to be said about having passions about certain things and being actually emotional about certain things, being able to fire up and be angry, and or like trying as hard as you can, and or having emotions that are more than just whatever, or even just the baseline, yay, this feels good, yay, this feels bad, no, this fucking sucks, or this fucking rules, you know what I mean? Like, a little bit more passion from people would probably do the world better, because I think a lot of people are so impassionate and or passive nowadays. That's why the world has gone to shit a lot of the places, and or the life of things have gone out. I think that's the most, and we'll get to an episode about the life being sucked out of things, but I feel like because nowadays things are so mechanicalized and or not driven via passion, but more so driven via the bottom line, aka the dollar, and or the view, because the views are as equal to dollars nowadays. It has made it so people are not willing to throw themselves into something fully and actually encapsulate themselves into something that they want to see, you know what I mean? So for example, they will do the bare minimum and or copy and paste other people and or do whatever is best for money-wise themselves, but not actually for betterment of the world and or betterment for their own spirit, because I feel like a lot of the lack of passion is just a reflection of the lack of spirit in nowadays, where people will not really do anything because they don't believe in anything, because the belief of goodness in the universe or goodness in their own world is not something that is prevalent, because that's just how the world is working nowadays. But that's another story about the modern world. But like I was saying, passion, I feel like, is something that is lost a lot of the time. I understand why people don't do it, but I'm also like, there are certain levels to it, obviously. I'm not gonna start crying on camera here or doing some crazy shit like that. But if I'm fucking fired up for something, I'm fired up, you know what I mean? Like, showing an emotion like that is fine. Some people will at least try to hide that down, or like try to like negate that as if like they are wrong to have feelings for some reason. But yet these are also probably the same people that are like, you're valid. God help us all if that is the case. And it's also interesting that you're not allowed to feel extreme emotions. So you can be upset, but you're not allowed to be angry. You can be sad, but you're not allowed to be depressed. Like, I find it like there are extremes to things, obviously. You touch the extremes, but then you come back a little bit, right? But if you don't touch the extremes, you're gonna stay in that little area beforehand. If I'm upset, I'm just gonna be upset all the time. I have to touch anger so that way I can reel back from it. I could cool down from it, you know what I mean? If I'm sad, I'm gonna go all the way down to depression and then come back up and bounce up. It's like an end bottom range or top range that you have to bounce away from. But for some reason, that isn't a thing nowadays. I don't know why, but people stay in this like weird, like all the time zone, and they don't want to like get out of it or just like reach the end point where they can come back from it. You go through both times and then you bounce back. All right, you got to go through the bullshit, but you got to end up on the other side of it. I don't even know where I was going with that, but anyways, I was just gonna say this: passion. Something that is missing in today's world, I feel like, in a lot of different things, and in the gym too, which we will discuss probably while we're inside, but we'll talk all over the place about passion, but we'll get more into it on the inside.
Okay, so start this day off with hack squats. Did 2 sets, which was nice, like a little bit of a slight deload, so not too bad, thankfully. So being passionate about something is something that I think everybody should be. I don't think there are many people that can get away with this life anytime, anywhere, really, without having a passion about something, really. If you aren't passionate about anything, really, there's probably like a void in your life that you're most likely filling up with some type of vice and or some other thing, like a fulfilling thing that realistically isn't necessarily that filling. Some people will fill it with shopping, for example. That's not necessarily a vice, but it can become one depending on what it is. But usually these are the same types of people that will use these outlets as something to replace what is the empty void that a passion could fill. But for some reason they choose not to, or they might not just know that what their passion is, / they might not know that they are doing such a thing. For me personally, I'm passionate about the gym. Would I say that I am like obsessed? No, because there is a level of past passion, which is obsession, which you can veer into, but I think the obsession video will be a different video. And I'm thinking about the cologne obsession now, but obsession is a completely different thing where you go a little bit past passion, where it is all consuming your life in a bad way. That is when you have to be careful, but there is always a fine line where you can tell where something is either a passion or an obsession, and most people don't even get to the passion part. Before you can even get to the bigger extreme, just get to one edge and then figure it out from there. So I would say personally, if you can, try to be passionate about at least one thing in your life. I mean, most people don't know what it is. Some people do know what it is. And if you don't know what it is, ask others around you as to what it is for them. Am I passionate about the gym? Yes. Am I passionate about other things? Why, actually, yes. There are other things that I like to be passionate about. For example, I like making videos. I actually genuinely like making content. That is something that I am passionate about. I am passionate about making videos. I actually do enjoy the process of editing and all the stuff that goes along with it, the filming and all that other jazz. I've been doing it for well over a decade plus now, even before I went to the gym. So it is something that I personally like doing. This is just molding the two things that I like doing together, which happens to work out. So that's where this is a doubling down of it. But these aren't the only things that I care for, nor is it just hobbies, because hobbies I think are one less step behind than a passion. So for example, a hobby of mine is model kit making, which I will get to one episode in the future someday. But I like to make Gundam model kits. So I would say that's a hobby. I wouldn't say that's a passion because I'm not passionate about it, but I will keep up with it and I will pay attention to it and I will do it whenever I can because it is something that I like to do. Now, one day we'll talk about hobbies because that's a whole other episode because that is very different than a passion. I feel like a passion is something that you not only participate in doing, but as well as you sink a lot of your efforts and time into it so then that way you can gain something more from it. It is not something passive, like you aren't like passionate about watching Netflix movies unless you are a film critic, but then again that requires you to do something else on top of it. So for example, make movie reviews and stuff like that. That's different because then you are putting some skin in the game basically. If you are just passionate about watching a TV show, that means nothing because you aren't necessarily putting anything of yourself into it. Now, if you're making reviews about it afterwards, like if you're posting it up on Letterboxd, you're making videos about it, then it's different because then you are actually doing something and you are passionate about doing this thing on top of it. So you just have to be aware of that. I feel like that's one of the big things. People can become passionate about anything, but as long as there's a participation element to it, obviously. But you also be careful about that because, like I said earlier, you don't want to go beyond passion and go into obsession because obsession can ruin you. And we'll have another episode about that. But don't be afraid to sink yourself into whatever your passion is. I think that a lot of people nowadays, like I said earlier, either think you care too much or think things are cringe. If those who think are cringe, you really don't have to worry about those types of people. Those types of people are the people that wonder why their life is the way they are and then proceed to judge others without any self-reflection at all, and or pessimistic sides of their personality just come out straight through, and you don't even need to worry about those types of people. They will usually fall by the wayside. And then the people who say that you care too much, those you have to be aware of, you have to be careful of, because those are the types of people that will bring you down and will always try to keep you down no matter what. And you have to be very careful about those types of people and allowing them to see what you're passionate about, because they will try to discourage you from doing whatever you want to do. And you kind of have to let them fall by the wayside when it comes to your passion. Now, don't discard them completely. You know what I mean? They might just be like, hey, what's going on? But also, you got to understand that certain people will want to keep you down. I mentioned earlier the bucket of crabs thing. It is, if you don't know, if you have a bucket of crabs and there is one that's trying to crawl out, the others will try to drag the one that's crawling out back down with them so they can't save themselves. So be aware of something like that, because those people will try to keep you down from whatever you want to accomplish or achieve. So just be aware of that.
Hello and welcome back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skip, also none. Got everything in, thankfully. Right now, I'm wondering what the hell is happening in front of me because people don't know how to drive. But anyways, overall, good workout. I'm feeling great. Why is this person not going? Guess who got another ticket again? Second day in a row. So I am almost officially, I think I'm done with this parking lot. I think I'm just gonna fucking park down the street on a different parking lot so that way I can pay more than 2 fucking hours. How ridiculous is that? I am beyond furious right now, but I'm gonna hold it back a little bit for this passion part, because I want to say this: find out what your passion, and if you don't know what your passion is, go find it, because it'll probably help your life way better than sitting there and not in a passionless life, letting the world throw you around when instead you could be throwing your weight around in the world. You know, you want to be careful about what you do in your life, obviously, but obviously you should have a passion for something, whether it is something small or something large. Have a passion in it and don't be afraid to be passionate about that thing. I think there's enough people out there that will mock and make fun of you. Don't worry about those people, because realistically they are slightly dead on the inside, and mostly they don't matter, and they're probably not even real, so it doesn't even matter. They are people that are maybe caught up in the windstorm that is popular culture and or their own demons that have allowed them to rot their soul away. So just fuck them. But anyways, tell me what you think in the comments below. I would love to know your thoughts on passions in general. If you have a passion of your own, you know. I was gonna make a joke about the passions of the Christ, but I think that's the time or place to do it. But with that being said though, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your thoughts about passions, you know, in general. I am a very passionate person right now. I'm trying to hold in the anger and rage that I have against the parking meter people, but you know what? They're doing their job, so I'm not gonna be that angry about it. I'm still angry, but I'm not gonna be that angry about it. But with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you on the next one. Peace.